Hey, good afternoon. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It is a damn fine day to talk about a book. And today we are here for a book review. And we're going to talk about The Girl from Rawblood by Catriona Ward. I didn't like this book. And, to be honest with you, reviewing books that I don't like it isn't necessarily fun. I believe it's important so that a light is really shown on the ones that I really do like. Again, I am no expert. You don't have to take my word, but I do believe that the reviewing community as a whole sometimes throws a lot of fluff at books. I spent a long time in the independent small press horror section of reviewing, and again, I believe that especially there, look, if everything is 5 stars, nothing is 5 stars, right? I mean, that's just kind of my perspective. So I like to use these occasions where I come across a book by an author that I like, that I don't like, to kind of practice my handling of those books. So generally, what I do is show you the books that I did like. I've read everything this author has written. And so in fairness to her, this was her first novel and I read it last. And yeah, so that's not really fair, right? That's not really fair to read more recent work and really like it and expect the same thing when you go back to a first novel. Um, but the first one that I read of hers was The Last House on Needless Street. This one came out to major buzz. It was her third novel, and I didn't love it. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars, but I did not love this book as much as everyone else did. Then I read Sundial, and I loved it. So much so that when I saw Looking Glass Sound on the shelf at Barnes & Noble brand new, I picked it up and I loved it. I mean, not 5 stars loved on those two, but definitely 4 to 4.5 stars really, really liked on those two. And so at that point, I'd read 3 books of Catriona Ward's, and I was like, okay, I liked them all. How many books has she written? She'd written 5. I was like, cool. Because I like to knock an author off my list. I like to say, hey, I've read all their shit. You know what I mean? And so I read Little Eve, which I thought was her first novel, and I liked this book, but 3 star liked it. So, in order, probably this is probably sitting in pretty close order of top to bottom. Sundial might be my favorite. I don't know. These two are pretty close. So, first novel. I went back, I picked it up, and I read it, and I just didn't like it. And a lot of that for me is the gothic elements of it. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of gothic horror. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like settings. So, like a gothic mansion slash castle slash setting, would be in my area of horror perfection, I guess. But sometimes when I pick something up that is deemed as gothic, it just doesn't do it for me. And I'm thinking of recently having read Mexican Gothic and by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I think, and I just didn't really care for that one either. So I gave this book 2 stars. Um, but there were times throughout this read that I thought about 1 star. And to be honest with you, I am not good at DNFing books. This book made me realize how horrible I am at DNFing books. That is definitely something for this year to try to figure out how to DNF books and what to do with them once I do DNF them because I'm Goodreads centric and um I don't know. I mean, it's not fair to mark a book as read if I only read 100 pages of a 350-page book, whatever. But to usually I'll get past a point and I'm like, okay, I've read 150 pages of a 300-page book. I'm not quitting. Let's just finish the book. And I don't think about it again. But this book, I'm telling you, I was 250 pages in, and I still was questioning whether I wanted to DNF it. Now, a lot of that comes from the fact that I had no idea what was going on half the time in this book. Some of that is because of the time jumping. We jump around basically between three generations of a family, and I so I liked the opening of the book. I won't say that I really liked it. I mean, we start in what is our modern day in the book, which is like in the early 1900s, 1920s, with a girl and her father. There's some mystery around them and the house they live in, and some like a I'm sorry about the dog, but there's some a neighbor that she has a friendship with, but because of something with the family, they're not allowed to have there's like initially it starts off as there's this disease that kind of follows the family around, and then it's something different, something more supernatural, more of a haunting type thing. But people, like if you fall in love, if you bring someone into this family, they die, and usually you die too, and everyone has died, and the fucking dog. I mean, I'm so sorry, Georgia, please, Georgia, Georgia, come on, hun. Oh my goodness. How about some synopsis and then we'll try to wrap this up? A curse. She is a curse. She's a curse. I'm telling you, I'm so happy for you people that have animals and love them. I don't. Look, I'm a work at home fella, and she kind of wears me out, to be honest with you. I'm just being real here. A curse, generations of loss, and the girl poised to bring an end to it all. At the turn of England's century, young Iris Villarca walks the lonely halls of Rawblood. They are haunted by her, a curse passed down in ancient blood that marks each Villarca for certain heartbreak, even death, and Iris is the last of her family's line. Iris forsakes her promise to her father to remain alone, swaddled in Rawblood's walls with its unspoken secrets. She dares to fall in love, and the consequences of her choice are immediate and terrifying, as her world shatters into a kaleidoscope of memory, vengeance, and terror. She must take a final journey back to Rawblood, where it all began and where it must all end. From the sun dappled hills of Italy to the biting chill of Victorian dissection halls, The Girl from Rawblood is a lyrical and haunting gothic novel of darkness, enduring love, and the ghost of the past. Yeah, so again, I kind of like the opening of the book. And then we started jumping time, and then I couldn't really follow what was going on. I think some of that was on purpose. I think the author was writing confusion and disorientation and things like that into the pages on purpose. So kudos on that because that's what I felt. I felt confusion and disorientation, but in this case, I didn't like it. Now, again, I said I was going to wrap this up. One thing that is kind of a specialty or a an earmark or I don't know what you would call it. It's something that Catriona Ward does a lot is she does this thing with twist, with ripping the rug out from under you, with kind of getting late in the book and changing the way you've looked at the whole damn thing to that point. And in some cases, it really works. That was my problem with Needless Street. I did not like the way things were explained away. I did not like the twist. I didn't like it felt, for lack of a better word, like a dirty trick. Some of this is done in this book too. Like I didn't really care for the way this thing twisted up and wrapped everything up. But the difference between this one and Needless Street is at that point I didn't care because I already didn't love this book. Again, it's a first novel. I read it last. That's not fair. But for me personally, like what if it had been different? What if I'd have got on the Catriona Award train early and read this book, and because of that, not found these others that I really liked? Because to be honest with you, I would tell you Catriona Ward is one of my favorite horror authors. Her, Anya Alborn. I'm not sure if Keith Rawson is considered horror. Some of his stuff is, but those three authors are the ones that are kind of like on my, hey, I'm in the process of reading all of their shit. I've done it with Rawson. I've done it with Ward now, and I've read six or so of Anya Alborn. She's got a few more than those because Rawson's got six, and Ward's got 5. But anyway, so what if? What if I'd have read this one first and not got to experience, in my opinion, what are better Ward books. So gothic confusion, disorientation, setting, but not really a well-defined setting. Like there's a cool house that's the center of this story. Rawblood. Rawblood is the name of the house. But ill-defined. I mean, not really. I mean, yeah, I don't want you to draw me a map, but yeah, kind of. I kind of want to. You know what I mean? It could have been such a deeper, darker, well-defined place. I feel. And then again, we flash back to a couple previous generations, and when we did that, I just didn't really. I just had a hard time, to be honest with you. And sometimes it's me. Sometimes I think it's me. Sometimes I'm like, well, you're burning yourself out. You've read too many books recently, and you're just not, this, you're not able to breeze through this one like some others. You're not paying close enough attention. This isn't one of the ones that you can read in every situation. I don't know. So I try to, sometimes I put that stuff back on me, but at the end of the day, I finished the book and I just didn't love it. I gave it 2 stars because I don't know why. I mean, if this had been a first time read of a first time author, I'd have probably been 1 star. But there were a few things in here I liked, a few things that kind of pulled it out of that 1 star range. So 2 stars, below 2 stars, to be honest with you. So this is The Girl from Rawblood. This one wasn't for me, but Catriona Ward shit is really, really good. I recommend any of these, but I highly recommend these two, Sundial and Looking Glass Sound. Yeah, this has been Well Red Beard. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books. You can't love them all. That's how it goes. And like I said, if everything's 5 stars, nothing is 5 stars. You do you, boo. That's what I say. You do you, boo. I mean, you do you. Whatever makes you happy. But for me, like I that's a firm book belief, and which as I say that, I realize that there's no such thing as book beliefs. And look, I wouldn't go out on Facebook and fight the world over this. But like I said, for me, if they're all 5 stars, nothing's 5 stars. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.